please.
Master Combs?
Here.
Master Barger?
Here.
Master Tudor?
Present.
Master Botkin?
Here.
Just two.
Here. All right, obviously today, guys, we're having a discussion about our health insurance for fiscal year 2017-18. We had discussion on it this past Tuesday in our fiscal court meeting, and we wanted to have a little bit more discussion, time to educate ourselves a little better to make sure that we're making the right call for Madison County employees and other county agencies as well, the water company, sheriff's department, clerk's office, everybody that's in part of our system. So Glenna obviously is back. Glenna, welcome back. Glad you're here. And we're going to get started on discussing it. I've been trying to educate myself as well. And one of the things that I really feel like that we have to look at this is that if we're going to compare the plans from low plan last year and high plan last year, we've got to compare to the low plan this year, what we're offering versus the high plan. So we're comparing apples to apples. So Glenna, if you want to come up.
I apologize, I wasn't here on Thursday. I listened to the meeting and heard some of your questions that you had asked and everything. I think one of the maybe misconceptions about the low plan, it's really, it's a lot better plan than what you think it is. That pre-taxed ability to have an HSA that rolls forward every year is a huge benefit. A lot of places have FSAs, but they are a lot stricter on what you can use that for. So the ability for us to put money into that HSA and for the employee to put money into that, and that's pre-tax money. When they put money into their HSA, it's pre-tax. The ability to do that is really good. For instance, if someone has a job that's got braces or going to have some major dental work done, they can plan for that and take out of their paycheck a deduction pre-tax to put in that to pay for that. And it helps them, the taxes would be probably around 25 to 30%. There's some really good benefits, and I just got some numbers this morning. If we look back at 2016, I wanted to see how many of our people, how much of the insurance they were really using.
But Glenna, before you do that, I want to give them, just to break this down,
Okay.
for the magistrates on the low plan of the deductibles. All right,
Okay.
that's been, I think, a lot of people's concerns. So that's my concern too. How much out of pocket are our employees going to be? And so if you compare this low plan deductible out of pocket versus last year's low plan, when you look at the sheets from the Baptist Health Network, it says $5,000 for an individual out of pocket deductible. Well, the HRA would make up $4,000 of that. So if you're comparing apples to apples of exactly what's out of pocket last year or this fiscal year, the employee would have been $1,000 out of pocket for deductible. All right. With the HSA plan, it's $3,000. Okay, so there's a difference of $2,000. They're going to be more out of pocket. Well, we're offering and recommending to give them $25 per pay period towards their HSA, which is $600. So it's really $1,400 more they would be out of pocket than what they were last year. Is everybody on this?
If they have something happen.
If they have something happen, that's right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand that.
All right. So now talk about these percentages.
Okay, so we look back to see how much insurance was used by our members. And when I say member, that's not an employee, that's an employee and their spouse and their child. A member is any person that's on our insurance. So for 2016, we had 362 members. 79% of that 316 or 362 used zero deductible, meaning all they paid was co-pays, go to the doctor or whatever, and that's all they paid all year long. They didn't have any major work done, didn't have anything that went toward the deductible. 87% of our members use less than $500 of the deductible. 90% of our members use less than $1,000 of their deductible, and their deductible was $1,000. So 90% of the people, we never even got into the HRA on. to pay. They only had less than $1,000 in deductible. In 2017, so far, in the first 4 months, 91% have used zero deductible. 96% have used less than $500. So there's a whole lot of people on our plans that do not use a lot of insurance. And if they have something happen, yes, they could be out $1,400 more dollars. If they don't have anything happen, which has been the majority in the past, they have $600 in their account. Next year, they may have a doctor's visit or two, so they have 500 carryover. The next year, they have 500 more carryover. They've got 1,000 in there. This, as long as they work for us, this keeps going.
And
you
they
can build up.
And they also can
Thousands
put
and thousands
more.
of
That's
dollars.
just what we're giving them. They
Yes,
also
they
can put
also
some of
put
their
more
own.
into
I
it.
mean,
That's just what the employer
it's
is
pre-taxed.
Is there a max as to how much they can put in?
$3,400 a year.
That the individual can put
Yes.
in addition to whatever the county puts?
Yes. For a single person, I think if they have family, they can put more.
Yeah.
If they have family, I think it's double that.
Glenn, how much are they gonna be paying for their routine visits, say, once a year? They- is
Most
that-
doctors,
The preventive care for routine care is still paid 100%.
Even on the low plan?
yes,
Yes.
So like a physical.
yes.
That's
it would
an
be.
ACA guideline, and the plan does abide by ACA guidelines for preventive care.
Mm.
Even like a colonoscopy.
I can't hear you.
Is preventative care.
We may
Oh,
want to
yeah,
do so.
yes.
You'll-
Yeah, this is Stephanie. Stephanie works with Bud.
Okay.
So even like a colonoscopy or a mammogram,
Sorry,
those are all
I couldn't hear
preventative care.
But you'll have a copay with that, though,
No,
possibly not.
no, you don't.
As long as it's considered preventive care, so even your flu shots, annual routine care visits are still paid 100%, no member cost share.
On both plans. So if you go to the doctor though, say you have a sinus infection and you go to your regular doctor. Let's say your doctor's visit, average, I mean, it could be anywhere from 75 to 150, but let's just say $100. Then you get the UHC contract price, it may only be $45. 45 is what the member pays, not the 100.
And mine would be 78 with the plan I got right now.
Yeah.
My doctor's visit.
And it's all dependent on the doctor
Right.
because they have contracts
Oh, I know.
with every doctor.
It's
So sometimes they're different.
$136, but they only will pay him 78 something, so I'd be
And I'm
paying
sure that's
$78.
According to how they code it too.
Yes, of course, it's always, the coding has to do with it. you
But
know.
that's $78 that, I mean, you're getting, if you went with this, let's just say, you're getting $25 a pay period. So you would have 26 doctor visits that you would have $25 per doctor visit to go towards. You know, you don't go, I'm sure you don't go to the doctor 26 times a year.
Yep.
And so, you know, how many times last year, let's say, did you spend that $78?
Well, I didn't spend 70, I spent 25, the way my insurance is now. But on the new plan, I'd spend 78.
Right,
It would cost
but-
you, it would cost you
Probably.
$50.
Yeah.
But how many
probably
times?
4 or 5 times.
So 4 or 5 times, so just say worst case scenario, 5 times of $78 would be $410, and we're giving you, and you're getting 600, you know.
Most of your people who, I think it's education onto the employees. We really have to educate our employees for them to be able to make wise decisions on what they need. If you have someone who knows that they're having gallbladder trouble and they know they're probably gonna have gallbladder surgery in the next year, they would be better off to pay that $25 per paycheck and have a higher plan.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told John earlier, of the 215 employees that we have on the plan, we only have 21 that have children on the plan. There's very few.
Well, they can't afford it.
And most of them are either on spouse's insurance or through the Affordable Care Act, they qualify for cheaper insurance.
That may not be a room on there.
Trying to fix that.
But the $25 that you're paying now for that office visit, you're really paying over $30 because that's taxed money.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you're not, that's the attractive part of this to me is I'm able to take more control over
Yes,
my spending.
Yeah.
yes, and when you get a bill, say you did have something happen and you have a bill with a hospital and you set it up on a payment plan, right now, you're paying that out of after-tax dollars. You can can set it up and deposit so much out of your paycheck into this HSA and get it pre-tax. You're cutting 25% at least off of that
Yeah.
cost.
So it's taxed on the way out, assuming that you canceled your plan, I'm assuming.
If you can't, it goes with the employee. So once they put their money in the HSA or we put our money into the HSA, it is in the employee's.
Right, so it
You
would tax you.
can't pull it out. You will have to spend it down to zero balance.
Oh, okay, well, so there's never any, it's
There's
not like
never
that.
any
It's
It's the
tax.
insurance card you can
tax.
use.
No,
Correct.
but
till you
tell me
spend
about
it.
the retirement. If they were to retire,
Yeah, I mean, you get to keep your HSA account no matter what. If you left employment with the county and you went to work someplace else, as long as you have what the IRS considers to be a qualified high deductible health plan, you can continue to contribute to it. Even if somebody left and had a regular PPO plan someplace else, not a qualified high deductible plan, they can still spend money out of it down to zero. You can, once you have a certain amount of money, you can actually invest the money that's in your HSA account, and make money off your money that's sitting there. When you reach full retirement age, you can pull it all out and buy a boat with it.
Well, that's what I was
There's
asking
some
earlier,
taxes on
there
it.
is an opportunity at some point in time to.
you
To
don't
cash it out, full retirement age, you'll be able to cash it out.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a huge.
yes,
Yeah.
that's what that's why I said that this lower plan is not a bad plan. It just depends on your circumstances. That's why the education is so important
Yeah,
to the
right.
employees. Certain people, that's not the plan for them right now in their life. The majority of our people, as you can see by the numbers that we got back, probably is. And they can actually make money if everything goes as it has the last year or two.
The majority of the employees last year took the low plan.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I look at it, the low plan is not offering as good of benefits as the low plan did last year, even though you're gonna get $600 a month. I don't think you got the coverage you had on the low plan last year.
No, our low plan last year, but it's a different circumstance, because the
I
low plan
understand
last
that.
year, we had the HMO network, which very limits you to who you can go to, and our employees did not, that was our biggest complaint, was they did not like that network. And that was a brand new network, Baptist Health just come out with it, several places, Richmond went with it too. It's not worked as good as what they had hoped, but you're paying for, you're swapping out for a different thing.
And the
It's hard to
four-
compare the two.
and it boils down to that it's costing them it's $1,400 difference
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And as far as the benefits, it's not the same benefits. Of course, I don't know what the definition of benefits is, but I mean, you actually have a better network.
Yes.
It's costing you, if you get over $1,000 in expenses, it's costing you an extra $1,400. If you don't get over $1,000, it's not costing you anything. Plus, you have the health savings account that is a benefit that's pre-taxed. And when you're gonna, what you just said, 90%. To me, well, those numbers, 90% of our members should want to go to the low plan and will benefit greater by it than they would the high plan.
And with insurance, year after year, you're gonna get an increase every year. You're not gonna get to stay the same. You're not gonna get to stay with the same benefits every year. That's just how insurance works.
That's history.
Yes, we have been very fortunate here, and Bud has helped us greatly, to be able to keep those increases like under 5% for several years. But you can only go so long. I mean, you're
Now-
gonna have a bad year, and this year we had a
You're
bad year
talking
on
either
claims.
10% or 19%, whichever. Of course, this plan's gonna be about 10% increase,
12%.
12%.
12% for the employer. Or it's gonna be 19%, and you're gonna keep that same HMO network that everybody complains about that they don't like.
Well,
If
on
you,
the low plan, the new one, for instance, you got people that live at Red Lick and
Mhm.
places over there, they can go to real hospital now.
yes,
Before they couldn't unless they had the high plan.
yes.
So that's a big benefit, and we have several.
There's a big financial benefit for the network. It's hard to put a number on it, but it is a big financial benefit for them.
I-
You're not limited or restricted on the doctor under this plan like you are
As long as they are there, they accept UHC, United Healthcare Insurance. That's the only, which
Which
that's
has a
very
bigger-
broad network.
yeah, it's-
That's
has a
like
lot
our
bigger
high
network.
plan last year, Baptist Health. Our high plan was the big, broad Baptist Health Network, and then our low plan was the HMO Baptist Health Network. The UHC is comparable to the broad Baptist Health Network.
So you can pretty much choose what doctor you want.
Most doctors take United Healthcare. I mean, they're one of the biggest providers.
I just like to
We just
offer
always have to be really
employees.
careful when we say, do I get to have whatever doctor? This is about whether your doctor is a member of that group.
United Healthcare.
They're
And they can
contracted with
change,
UHC.
they can change year to year as well,
Mhm.
so we cannot make any guarantees
Yeah.
that anyone's doctors are going to be within the network. It's a network specific and doctor specific decision, which is why we have to be very careful to make sure that our employees become better consumers of health insurance. They have to take on personal responsibility of understanding which plan is best for them and for their families based on their history and on their decisions about where they geographically live and what care they need and which providers they want to be with. Our employees need to become better consumers.
Some of the doctors now that you're using, like from Central Baptist or different ones, are they covered with United even though they're one of the?
I can't guarantee a specific one, but most doctors take your major networks. Baptist Health, United Healthcare, I don't know about Humana, what, Anthem, I mean, your bigger doctors take your big, the broad spectrum.
And remember, Baptist Health was bluegrass.
Yeah,
Used
I
to be
wanted to say,
Bluegrass,
Baptist Health is very strong regionally, but United Healthcare is a national network, so it's everywhere. Baptist was able to help cover the areas outside of Kentucky and parts of our surrounding states with RAP networks, so there was some coverage there, but United Healthcare is national. If somebody has a child that's a student in Texas or Florida, they're gonna have network coverage there as well through United Healthcare.
I think your employees are the most vital part of any kind of business or whatever, so, I'd like to help them on this a little bit. I'm probably out there on the limb by myself, but I don't feel like the low plan is gonna benefit them that much. So I'd like to lower the deductible on the high plan and let the county help pay for part of that. If we cut the
Well-
25 to 1250 pay period, and there's 100 employees switched over, we're only talking $30,000 a year.
No, you're not, because at the end of the day, the whole dynamic with this is you want to encourage people to go over to the low plan. Next year we could maybe incentivize them more and put more in their HSA. Right now, if you paid, let's just say you paid all the $25 and we didn't charge anything for the high plan, you wouldn't have anybody on that low plan, and we would have what was the extra cost?
Oh, if you went to the full pay for it all on that, it was an extra $234,000. It was a 21% increase
So-
for the employer.
So it's 200.
We can't afford that.
It's 230. So you're saying do half. You're talking about $115,000 extra. $115,000 on top of the 12% that we're already paying.
Yeah.
And
I mean, at a
guys, I
12%
want to be as good to our employees as anybody. But the difference in the seat I sit in and the seats you all sit in is I see the expenditures day in and day out. I have people coming needing things day in and day out, and there has to be kind of a happy medium when we make these decisions. Now, if we want to continue spending and spending and spending, that's fine. But at some point, we're going to have a discussion here about raising taxes, and I don't need to be the only one left at this seat making that decision.
We don't have the extra funds, because even doing the 12%, the original plan that I proposed to you all originally, the 12%, it's gonna cost us an extra $136,000 this next year, just to do the 12%. Anything above that is even more. the reason I picked 12%, because I felt like when you compare our market to factories and other jobs out here, they do not have rich benefits. Most of your places are going to HSAs, and a lot of them don't even put any money in it. They just offer an HSA that the employee can put into. They don't even put any money into it, and they have a high deductible plan. This higher plan,
Go ahead.
this higher plan is very rich for it when you compare it to our outside. $25 for a single person of her pay to have that $1,000 deductible and $2,600 out of pocket is very reasonable. When you compare it out. Now I know we're used to rich benefits, and we've been very fortunate in the past to be able to do that and to be able to get those low increases of less than 5%. But those times are over, and we got hit with a 19% this year.
And another thing we haven't really been discussing is the family plan. The difference in the cost of a family plan versus on the low versus the high is $164. Was that a month or a pay period?
A month.
A month.
They would benefit if they take the low plan. They're saving $164. They're not having to increase. That means these rates on that low plan are staying exactly the same as the low plan this year. So they're not getting an increase in premium. Plus, they would get $100 towards their HSA.
How many family plans did we have this year?
9,
9 out of 215.
15.
I'm one of them, the other way.
Yeah, well, it's more, 9 is just family. We have 21 that have employed children or family, so there's 21 that has children on them, and then there's another 14 that has spouses. So you're talking about 35 total that has people other than just employees.
And the other thing, we just said that 90% of our employees didn't spend $1,000, and there's no difference in that. With this.
79%
And we're
didn't.
giving them $25. We're giving them $600 a year in their HSA pre-tax, plus they can add to it. I mean, I don't understand where that's not good benefits, I guess. And that HSA rolls every year.
Or does, excuse me, the dental and vision, is it still?
They're all rate holds.
Okay.
And that's just, you choose, that's their guardian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you
Guardian
choose whether
and
you
But
want
yeah,
that, you pay that no matter.
We got everything a
That's
rate
nothing the
hold
county
except
pays.
for our basic life insurance, which the employer pays. So all the benefits that the employee buys extra has either been a rate hold or actually a decrease.
And keep in mind, once you use that rate hold insurance, if you have the HSA and all of a sudden you get a
Yeah.
crown, you can apply that HSA to dental. Our
Yes.
employees couldn't do that now.
Mhm.
They couldn't do it post-tax. They certainly couldn't do it
It's gonna be
pre-tax.
25% cheaper than it was.
Yeah.
I
on the
mean,
other
that's a
plans.
huge win.
We provide, you said the employer pays, but we provide 25,000 to each employee.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that one went up just a few cents.
Yeah, that's
But
what
that's
she's
on,
saying,
you know,
employee.
you pay
Oh,
that.
mine went up a lot,
Why is that?
I guess my age.
Yeah, the age will
You
come.
get
Triple.
closer.
It tripled.
We're back
I got
on
a big
closer and
policy.
closer.
Yeah.
It does.
That's my big expense.
We were looking at a 19% increase for last year. What drove that number? What randomly picked 19%?
Well, I'll let Stephanie.
Well, it's not, it's all based on your claims.
Okay.
It's based on the claims from the last 12 months and the increase that Baptist Health felt like they needed to get in order to break even.
So that wasn't a 19% on all Baptist Health, or
No, they do look at
It was-
individual claims for each group.
it was Madison County
Yes.
claims?
Yeah, every year when we do, they look at your claims. If you have a good year, there's a couple of years, the HRA is funded from probably 7, 8 years ago. We had a couple of claims with Anthem that if we kept our claims under 75%, they gave us money back at the end of the year. We did that for 2 years and we got money back, and that's what we float our HRA on right now, and that's what we're gonna use 100,000 of it to go toward this health insurance thing. So every year, your biggest factor is your claims. If you have a terrible year, and they have to pay out more than you paid in, that health insurance company's going.
Well, we must have had several claims last year
Well,
to get the 19%
Yes.
increase.
But we had 79% that didn't spend over $1,000.
Mhm.
But you had 10% that was probably, you had some major.
Yeah.
It could be a claim or two
Yeah.
that makes a
Yeah.
huge.
Oh, I understand that.
And if they're
Catastrophic
once they
injury.
know their
understand that.
prognosis, you know, they can tell. We don't know who's got what. The health insurance company can see and see if they're still employed. If they've got a terminal illness or something that's ongoing, they can predict, this is gonna cost us another $100,000 next year, because if this person stays employed, we can see that. So they're banking on that too. You know, what
And
what it's gonna cost them in the future.
And it's 19.5% too,
Yeah.
to make sure, I mean,
So how does our number that we selected over here on our chart, where
That-
does that fall compared to the 19% that we're being based on? 19% is a number, there's some number, dollar
Okay.
figure assigned to that. How does our number that we selected compare to the 19% number?
it's on this page right here, I think, Tom, if you look at your,
Is that
No, it's one
1.5?
time.
No. Yeah,
Well, the 19%.
what number goes with it.
Well,
I
that's
think it's
when you take what the-
1.534, isn't it? Is it 1,534,000?
1 million, it's the
It's
second
the combined,
page
it's the
here.
combined annual renewal.
It is, so if you look at what you're currently paying today, and then you look at what the increase is gonna be, with Baptist Health for the next plan year, if you wanna keep what you have right now, you take those two costs right there, and that's where you come up with your 19%.
The 1.5, is that the actual, or is that a projected, or is the 1.7 an actual or projected? That's what we're talking about this
Well,
part.
that's, yeah, but we plug in exactly what the rates are. I
Okay.
mean, with fully insured, you have rates for each tier. So we plugged those rates in, and then you'll see what the current rates are. Those are hard numbers. The only thing that could change those numbers would be if your enrollment counts moved around.
So where over there on the low plan that we fund, it was 406.24, it's jumping up to 485.53. So we would have to take that full, that should be.
When in court, I just want to say this part about it. I was in a twist in court merely over the perceived deductible. But we didn't have, we weren't comparing everything together. You know, looking at the 5,000, 10,000. Let's see, the right one. Our renewals were 5,000, 10,000, and 66, the out-of-pocket is 66 and 13. Now we're looking at 3 and 5 and 5 and 10. So this actually is lower
Well,
to a degree.
the old one still had the HRA in it.
Yeah.
But so really to the employee, they never saw the HRA. The HRA was on the back end. So all they saw that they had to be out the first $1,000 and then the HRA picked up, which they didn't know if it was the HRA or the insurance plan, because they don't see that.
Now they're out
It-
$2,000, and then they get $600 off of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
For,
So
for
it's
the low,
14
for the low plan.
Yeah, it's $1,400 that they could
First
be up.
deductible.
Or if they have a good year, they could be ahead $600
Yeah.
to go toward
And then
the
that
next.
that carries over. So then next year, they'd still be out 1,400 extra, but they've got 600 plus the 600 we're giving them, right? So next year, that you minus another 600 off 1,400, which would be 800. Then if they have another good year, I mean, they build that.
Yeah, I get that.
Plus it's
I
pre,
understand.
plus it's pre-tax. And you're not, and guys, we're not encouraging people that maybe have some, I mean, people have different chemistries, you know? Some people catch colds and are sicker than others. And we're not saying, hey, everybody's going to this low plan, we're not even offering. We still are offering them a great plan for those that need that. But where it's helping the county out is that we're offering something that is better for us long-term, because right now, we're paying for 90% of our people, and Baptist Health is getting all that $406 a month, when 90% of our people aren't even using it. So now what we're doing is we're saying, okay, hey, we're still offering you this. You still can use it if you want, but you're not. So what are we doing? We're building our nest egg to where we become self-insured, which is better in the long run.
Opportunity to build their nest egg.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that is being overlooked here a little bit. If we have good years and we are self-insured, that's money that's being invested into
Our health
the
plan.
employee's health plan.
Yeah,
Which makes next year's conversation about health insurance.
Exactly.
even better.
Even better.
Potentially
And,
better.
and then, and you can see where, this time next year, you can see where maybe the weak points were. And you can shore up those weak points with money that's been saved.
And if you
Over
have
the previous
expensive
year.
years, capped.
Yes.
Right.
We have the,
And
and the where I come up with that number was, we took what Baptist Health expected looking at this year's health claims, what they expected our health claims to be at next year, which is a 19% increase. We took what their expected claims was and the max that we could possibly be out and split it down the middle. So that we feel like we're above what's expected, but we don't have to go to the max. Now,
And
if
that's
we
still a
were-
12%
Yeah, that's-
increase versus
yes.
19, yeah.
And if we were to go to the max, we would do it just like we do with the HRA now. I would send Kenny a bill at the end of the year. If we went over $20,000, or if we went, if we didn't reach the max, but we went 20,000 over what we had put in there, or budgeted to, then at the end of the year, I'll send Kenny and say, okay, it is $40 per employee. You have 27 employees for the year. You owe us this much money. And they would send me a check and I would put it in their health insurance account to make us even for the year. If we're good, that money does not get distributed back out. It gets put in the pot for everybody to go toward our next year's health insurance.
And then that's where you can obviously make changes to it to maybe give a little stronger benefit the next year.
Yes.
Or you might be able to give a
Or
little
you
bit
give-
more money toward the
Yeah, you
HSA,
put more money in the HSA.
you know,
Yeah.
Well, speaking for my employees, I think the biggest problems that they've had is the prescription drugs, the costs going up, the cost of the insurance going up, and them not being able to keep the doctor that they had in the past. And then which employees have the family coverage, the pay raise that they got this year, it was spent just on the insurance. So retention of employees, this has a lot to do with just the insurance coverage. And it's hard to keep everybody happy, but, this is a big thing for the employees. They probably watching or listening to this today, but just hopefully you make a wise choice.
I don't feel like we got a choice.
Well, we got a choice between, we don't have a choice about who we're gonna go with. We got a choice of arguing for another hour over whether we pay $50 or they pay $50 or whatever. But
Well, I mean, we
but
have-
the majority of the people is gonna take the lower plan anyway. I had a concern
That's what I feel like, Roger.
Yeah.
Even though if we could cut to the upper plan a little bit, the majority's gonna take the low plan.
that, I had a concern that it was gonna force a lot of people to the lower plan. Probably the lower plan's the better one if you're not to the age that I am and still fairly healthy and don't go to the doctor that much. Like I said the other day, somebody my age, and you've already had a surgery or two, and there's probably more coming, I probably need to take the high plan, and that's probably what I'll do.
And if you're a single, $25 per paycheck pre-tax. So if you weren't paying that, part of that would be going to taxes. So you're talking, instead of a $25, you're probably talking about $17 is what the actual difference in their paycheck would be.
Yeah, and in other industries, that difference, if they offer a better plan, it's in the hundreds of dollars
Yeah.
a month.
In most
Versus,
years, they don't even offer a free plan.
no,
Well, you still, even on the higher plan, you still save $11 a pay period.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, all the people that was on the high plan before, if they stay with the high plan, they're gonna be happy.
Yeah, that's true.
I just wish, I'm like John, I wish $40. It's better if we can, I'm just thankful that we're being able to offer them something that's affordable and a broader base now, and they can go where they want, choose their doctors, if they're in the network, and most of them are. I was only turned down one time, last year, by a doctor that just didn't take Baptist Health.
Yeah.
But I just went to another. You know, they all got their degrees, but I know everybody likes us.
I won't ask you what the GPA was, do you? Put something on the wall, yeah.
But I really appreciate all the work that the county puts in, because, our office could not, we could accomplish this, but not as well. And,
We couldn't do it
and Mike
without
is
our
right.
workers.
Yeah.
Mike is right, that a lot of my employees, they're here because of the benefits, is a big part of why they work here for us. And without those benefits, we're gonna have trouble. The security and the benefits, the two things that people look for when they come here. They know we're not gonna close up shop, and they like the health insurance. I mean, I've had a couple that workplaces, they were paying every dime. You know, a couple of them came here and they got a $400 a month raise because they weren't paying for their own health insurance. So it's really important to us, but I appreciate everything y'all do.
I think the majority's gonna take the low plan, but we all know that $600 worth of medical bills add up pretty quick.
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to have very much done at all. So if you're ideal, healthy, and wanna go on the low plan, insurance is kind of a gamble. I mean, it's like going to horse race. You're either betting to win or you're betting to stay in there. And, you know, if you have a good year, good. If something, major happens, you're hurting.
Yeah. It's not really insurance anymore. It used to be, you pay your premium and, you know,
It's
your
covered.
mind's clear. Everything's covered. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not, that's just,
Well, John, you were
That's not
right in
realistic
what you
anymore.
actually said, and Glenda's right in what she said, but the number of people that has the higher plan, if you just, you said 20-something?
Oh, we have 85% of our people have single coverage.
Okay, so, I mean, even if you just take the ones that took the higher plan, I'm gonna say your figure's close, 30,000. Because
I
Also-
don't see, how many's on the high plan right now, Glenna?
27,
We've
I
got
think.
21,
49 people.
Okay.
Well, I took these numbers, let's see, what do we have? 55 people on the high plan, which is just a different.
Is
number.
that 55 policies, 55 individuals, or 55 members?
55 employees.
55 employees?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a different figure.
Not spouses, but just employees, 55 employees.
Yes, that's the employees that take that, like we have, of that, 15 take something other than single on the high plan. We have more families, we have 5 families on the high plan, 4 on the low.
Well,
So 5 of those families are gonna be tickled to death, they're gonna get a decrease.
I'm comfortable with it. So if you need a motion, I can make it. That we go with the United Healthcare and offer the high and the low.
Well, I mean, that's what we're gonna offer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's where we are, Larry.
I know,
whether
but
we're gonna
I
help
want
them or
that
not.
in writing.
But you're just saying to recommend it, what we're recommending to the court.
Absolutely.
The 12% increase was $500 per person for the employer.
Well, I'm not comfortable with it, but I'll vote for it.
I do
Yes,
wanna
and on the
say this, though.
HSA, if they do the HSA, it would be,
If I'm too early, I mean, we'll talk
Now,
more.
you're in the right place, but, because it doesn't make any difference, we're tied, our hands are tied, we don't really have a choice one way or
You're right.
another, but here's the thing. We're basing everything on a presumption, or a fact, or a flip of a coin, or a gamble, that we're gonna do better this year, so everything will go down for next year. I've had homeowners insurance for 20 years now. Most of those 20 years, I never had a claim. My insurance went up every single year. It's never stayed the same. It's not gonna stay the same. So, I mean, thinking that we're just gonna hang in there and it's gonna go down because we're doing good, it's not the case. It's going up. Has to go up. It's gonna go up.
But are you betting on that, or are you just saying
No.
that's an advantage if things do work
I
out?
think that's an advantage that you get right now if you pay all that to them. that health company gets the advantage. They get to keep that money.
Yeah.
That's how they make money. So every year that we've had a good year over the past few years and they've only gave us a 5% increase, they only gave us a 5% increase because they made money off of us.
Yeah.
So instead of them making the money,
Yeah,
we can make the money, but we also take the risk that we're gonna have a bad year in 5 to 6 years. But that's why you build up your nest egg, and if you don't spend that money, you save it for that
Yeah.
bad
You,
year.
you
We've
take
had
the
it.
good with the bad.
We hope. We'll find out.
And you have the insurance for the insurance,
Exactly.
basically.
Yeah,
And
you
we've
have
had
insurance to
United
make
Health
sure that
in
you
the
know
past.
what your max is.
Yeah.
It can't blow you out of the water
And-
because
and
you
I-
have
and-
insurance.
And obviously for the long term, you, and it might be 15, 20 years. I mean, you become self-insured, you know, where you don't need the extra insurance. You don't need to spend for the aggregate stop or the stop loss, or, you know, you build your nest egg up to where you're pretty confident that, and so then you start, you're just sort of paying yourself, you know.
Well, I don't wanna beat a dead horse, but I want one more point. So the two policies, the aggregate and the stop loss, is there a potential for those premiums to be lowered if we don't hit those numbers? If we don't hit those ceilings?
Well, we can see rate holds. I've seen rate holds with stop loss insurance.
Okay.
You don't
Don't see a
normally see
decrease.
them go down just with
Okay.
any other, insurance. But, you know.
Cause that was $150 of the premium, was it?
115.
115, was it,
And there
those
are
two
ways
policies?
that you can adjust that. I mean, for this year, we are putting in a 12-12 type policy, and that means any claims paid within that current 12 months and, are incurred within the 12 months and paid within the 12 months are covered under the stop loss. Now, next year, we would wanna look at doing a 24-12 or a paid contract. That way, we don't have any gaps in coverage. If, for say, somebody had a really large claim in December and it wasn't paid or didn't go through to be processed until the next year, we wouldn't want any gap. So, next year, we would suggest that you do a 24-12 and it will pay any claims incurred in 24 but paid in the 12. It always keeps coverage in the loop. Now, that may cost a little bit more, but you know, what you see a lot when you bring in a high deductible health plan with an HSA is, you know, more consumerism, realizing that tests done in a hospital are more expensive than tests done in a
That's-
freestanding
Mhm.
clinic.
Yeah.
I mean, people are looking for the best deal on cars and furniture and houses, and that's the way we want people to start looking at their
Healthcare,
healthcare costs.
right.
But that's not something that you get to negotiate. If you
Well-
go to a doctor and doctor orders tests, the doctor's gonna send you to go to test. You don't get to negotiate where I
Well,
wanna
you
go
do,
to have
you
those
You
can,
tests.
do.
you can
Yes,
too.
you do.
Yeah.
You really can.
And MRI, big difference. in
Yes,
the results.
big difference, thousands of dollars even on these tests.
That could
The
be,
doctor-
that could be potentially even worse.
The
Simply
doctor will
because-
you will get the same test at a hospital as you would a freestanding clinic. The results are gonna be the same and the results are both sent to the doctor. So, I mean, you can do that and you should do that the same way you would with any other big purchase. Those decreased costs are decreased costs directly to the county, which can bring down, you know, the claims dollars and help year over year with keeping the cost
I
manageable.
like it. I like the sound of it, but now am I gonna listen, I don't have a dog in this fight, other than the people, simply because I don't have the county insurance. So, but if I did have the county insurance and I wanted to do the right thing, and I have a test, am I gonna have to negotiate now? I
No,
don't
you
know.
don't have to
Listen,
negotiate.
just listen to me just for a second. I don't know where to go. I need an MRI. Am I gonna have to call 5 MRIs to see which one's got the best, cause I wanna do what's best for the county. I'm a good employee, right? Do I have to call and see which one's got the cheapest price so I
Well,
can go
you're gonna
get
do the best for you too, because
I'm
you're
just-
paying a
I'm
portion of that.
just saying.
Yeah, it's your money.
Yeah,
that
but
you're paying
I
for.
gotta call and negotiate it now.
There are tools that are available online to you that where you can actually go out and look at cost comparisons with different facilities. Just as a rule of thumb, a freestanding clinic has lower rates than a hospital. So anytime you're looking at a test that you're wanting to get sent to the hospital for, you're gonna be able to find a lower cost at a freestanding clinic.
Do you have anybody currently company-wise that's on the HSA?
Oh, most every client I have has at least HSA option.
Can you tell me this, on the card itself that they'll get to go in,
Mhm.
do you have, where am I headed with this? The use of it, do they have problems, anybody have problems with it?
Mhm.
So they go in, they take it to them, and they take it,
You just turn in
and
your,
they-
you know, your
and rock it
insurance
out.
card. I have a high deductible health plan personally, and I know that, you know, some facilities will call and they'll tell them what the deductible is, and they may tell you, you know, the charge at a particular, you know, urgent care center. They may wanna say you need to pay $150 today. My answer is always is that your contracted price with the discount? And they generally respond to me with, we'll send you a bill. So then when I get the bill, actually after it's gone through my insurance company, I find out it's $75. So again, we're going back to consumerism on, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
And
like,
education.
I
we
think
do
it's
that.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's like anything else. I mean, we have, as a employee or a citizen or in our daily lives, we have a responsibility to learn how things work.
Well, what about this? All the employees will get a great deal of education at the open enrollment. You have an opportunity to sit down with somebody and say, look, you know, what are my options? But what about going further and having a little workshop that's offered to the employees, that if they want to come and hear more about it, that we can have kind of a question
That's
and
what we
answer.
wanna do.
Absolutely, and I think we need to do
That's
this,
good.
Mark, before we get to this point every year and give them the options up front so they'll have a chance to make that decision and let us know which way they're gonna go.
Well, up front would be awesome, but if you can't do that, at least on the back, so at least people know what it is. And when they hear that, you know, good grief, this is actually coming out of my pocket because of the HSA, then all of a sudden you may have people a little more concerned than what they are. They think, well, it really doesn't matter because it's not my money.
That's
But
right.
if it is their money,
That's
and if they
exactly
realize,
it. We have individuals going to the emergency room who have strep throat.
Mhm.
yeah,
All the time.
now that's gonna be coming out of their pocket.
They go to
with
the urgent care,
SHA.
there's a long wait, they're like, I'm going to
Yeah.
the emergency room, see if it's shorter there.
And if you hear this, you know, it actually it might behoove our employees to spend a little more time in trying to get the best possible and care, but also cost.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
But I
and
think
we love to educate.
You both made two good points, and Tom's right. Our employees are not gonna show up and get bare knuckle with the doctor about that's too high and I'm not paying that. They're gonna just sit back like this. But if you show up an educated consumer, and this group does the research and says, well, you know, MRIs, here's the price range. When you go to the doctor and they say you need MRI, say, I wanna go there. And you tell the doctor where you wanna go, or you say to the doctor, is that the cheapest medication that you can put me on? That kind of stuff.
They need to have the information
They need to be,
available. for
they
them.
need to be, an educated consumer is dangerous to a system like the healthcare system, which is full of waste and basically exploitation.
The
of
point about the
consumer.
timeline, it is really hard, we have to wait till we get all of March's claims in and before they can get quotes, because if you go back and you have them give you quotes on
You
up
have
through
some major
January's claims,
expenses, I
you
understand
can't
that.
they don't guarantee those, and
Yeah.
so if you make a decision on that, and then we get to June when open enrollment comes, and then the company's like, no, we're gonna change that because you've had terrible claims since then, that's the reason you have to,
Yeah.
it's such a crunch time, it's hard not to have a crunch time.
And guys, y'all have every day, Monday through Friday, every week of the year, except when we're off on holidays, to go talk to the employees. I mean, y'all could go down and be at the road department at 7 in the morning and talk, or be out the fire department at 7 in the morning and just say, hey guys, how's your health plan? What kind of changes could we do? I mean, y'all have that option to have that communication level with our employees to be able to help you all make better decisions at this point. But once you get to this point, it's like we had our first meeting just for the simple fact of what Glenn is talking about early last week, because that's when the rates came into bud and we sat down and had a work session to go over what the options are, you know. And then of course, I have individual meetings with you guys and tell you to go talk, to educate yourself on the plans. And then, I mean, it's sort of how the process works. But us having a workshop now, at this point, now that we've decided to educate our employees, is the time to do it, because we really know what we have and what we're offering. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any more discussion?
I think we've had enough.
Call the roll.
One clarification on that.
Well-
The HSA, it is a $50 per month for the employee. If they take anything other than employee, it is $100
$100,
per
yeah.
month.
Yep. Yep.
And that comes out of the 500, that's not in addition to the 500.
Right.
So what I bill the employers, it's still just 500 per employee.
Yeah. And one other thing is that the HRA money that we have in there now, that rolls over and helps us get started
Yes.
on our plan. So everybody understands that. It was approximately
It's approximately 160,000.
Yeah.
We're taking 100,000 and putting it straight toward this plan. The other 60,000 we're using for float money in that account to keep us revolving.
right.
So Glenn, I got one question on
Yes.
this, HSA plan. If you take the spouse on there, it says $168. Is that minus the, $50 a month that you get? So it'd be 108?
No,
On the plan.
they are gonna have 168 taken out of their paycheck per thing, but then we're gonna put $50.
They'll still get
into
the
HSA.
50 on their card.
Yeah, well, they
That would
actually
be
get
100.
because they got something other than single. Because when there's something other than single, they're deductible doubles, they're out-of-pocket doubles, so you get more.
So basically, they're gonna pay 168 out of their check. Okay, but they're gonna get 100 back, actually.
Yes.
But that's 168 times 2, because that's a paycheck.
Yeah.
Two checks per month.
So
Yeah,
there's 2
that's per
checks per
pay.
month,
Okay.
all right? And
Yeah.
so then you're gonna
That's
get
it.
$100 a month,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Yeah, 25 a pay period, yeah, 25, yeah.
50 a pay
So,
period.
so you'd be at $336 a month, and you're getting 100.
Right.
So it's costing
For
you
your
For a
200.
family plan.
So it's costing you $226. Yeah. All right, any more discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buck?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, guys, thank y'all. Glenda, thanks. Stephanie, thanks. Everybody that's here, thanks.
All right,
Rachel.
motion to adjourn.
We don't have to.
No.
It's a special. That was a
Oh, okay.